Hey, y'all.
we match.
Welcome. We match. We color coordinate.
See my green.
Welcome to our porch. I'm Miss Katie.
And I'm Mr. Patient.
Yes. And the cat got my chair. What's the saying? The cat got your tongue. That's the saying. That's the saying. Is the cat got your tongue?
He didn't do that.
No, he got... Okay, so this is my wonderful Mr. Patient that y'all don't see very much, especially if y'all are new to Heritage Ways. So welcome, Mr. Patient, for joining me. Mr. Patient thinks I'm a little bit of a talker. Okay.
Am I supposed to comment on that? So, I'm trying to be a good boy.
So you want supper tonight, don't you? Okay. So I'm sitting here because the cat got my chair. But we have some news to bring to you. I'm not cooking with y'all tonight or today. We're just going to bring you a little bit of news, a little bit of something we've been wanting to share for quite some time, but it just didn't happen for a while. So you're going to hear about that. All right. Well, if you are new, we have a lot of new people, Mr. Patient.
I know it is.
I know. And we are so glad y'all are here. So thanks for being here. Miss Katie, Mr. Patient, and we live in mid-Ohio, kind of in Amish country on the outskirt, on the very foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yes, we do.
We love the Appalachian Mountains. Oh my word. And so this is where the Lord led us to be after we lived in Tennessee for 52-ish years, 52, 53 years. So that's why I tell people I talk the way I do and I live in Ohio. They want to know, why do I talk the way I do and I live in Ohio. Actually, my daddy's family is from Ohio. So Ohio is not foreign to either one of us. It's kind of my second home state, and by marriage it's kind of your second home state too, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, for over 30 years.
Excuse me. Yes, that's right. Well, I do know where I left off, but I forgot to say that here at Heritage Ways, I was welcoming the new folks. Yep. And I was saying here at Heritage Ways, I teach and encourage homemakers. I teach homemaking skills. I do it in person. I do it through my cookbooks and my courses, and on social media and YouTube and my website, heritageways.com.
Yep. Mr.
Patient's the manager of Heritage Ways, so he does a good job managing and shipping out those cookbooks.
I do.
Yes, he does. All right. Well, many of folks here, I mean, we've met them in real life. It's been a wonderful journey.
A lot of them we have. Yep.
And a lot of folks have been with us since the beginning of
YouTube
appearance on Instagram in 2015 when I had a different name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then 2017, we came on the YouTube scene, and I had a website, and then I wrote cookbooks and all the things, and here we are. A few years later. I don't do math on days that end with Y, so I don't know how many years that has been, but it's a lot. Okay. He doesn't either. He doesn't either. So those folks have been with us through, even when we were in that other farmhouse, the Tennessee farmhouse that we moved from in 2018. And then we bought the smaller house so that we could have a home base in Tennessee. And our third son, Owen, lived there with his friends. And we traveled full-time in an RV to meet our social media friends, to meet y'all, and just to do service work, and to take our 3 youngest children, who are adopted, on just an adventure. And that was hard, but I don't regret it.
No, because we got to meet a lot of you guys, and we really enjoyed that.
Yes.
We really enjoyed that.
Some of my dearest friends now are folks that we first met through social media, and then we met in person. And some have been to our house here in Ohio. So it's just been
from Florida to Georgia to Texas to Arkansas. I mean,
where we've been.
Yeah, I mean,
New Jersey.
We've been
We've been
almost everywhere, man.
We've been. I thought you were gonna sing
Well,
for
we
Deb.
ain't been everywhere, man.
So we've been everywhere, Deb. All right. So anyway, I say that to say many of y'all have followed our journey and watched the kids grow up. Well, we've moved into this house 2.5 years ago, I think, here in Ohio. In Ohio.
Yeah, it'll be 3 in October.
Or August, one of those months.
October.
Yeah.
Be 3 years in October.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we have more.
October.
Yes, that's right. We have more news because now we are on another physical journey. And what are we doing?
We're moving on.
We're moving on. Just moving
Not necessarily
on
up. Not necessarily
to a
up.
deluxe apartment in the sky. So yeah, you tell them. What are we doing? What have we done?
As you see in these photos, we signed some papers. And what are those papers for? We signed papers buying some land.
Yay.
That is in the area here. We're staying in this area, in this general area. And so we bought some raw land that we're slowly working on as we have time, as we have money, the whole thing. We're trying to slow walk it without burying ourselves in debt. And so our hopes is to eventually build on said land.
So we're so thankful, and I want to tell the story. Can we tell the story of how we found it?
Yeah.
There's another story that I'm probably not going to tell only for time's sake, but there's we prayed about the land. This is going to be our retirement home, right?
Well, back up though, because we started out looking for houses with land.
No, we have
We started out looking for houses with land in the area, but it was still when the market was really high and things were really expensive and things were moving really quickly. So we started out there, and then as we were seeing what was out there, nothing really seemed to fit what we were looking for.
Because it's going to, like I said, it's going to be the last house, earthly home, right? That's our plan, our retirement home or whatever you want to call it. So, we don't plan to move again, Lord willing, after this one that we want to build. And we had looked at some houses, and it's just nothing. And so we'd been praying about it, and we looked at this one house, and I won't tell that whole story. Someday maybe I will, about how I thought it was the right one based on a literal dream I had, which is just a really crazy thing how it happened. And it ended up not being the right house. So I think I know what the dream meant, but we'll tell that story another day.
Well, when we backed off of that and started looking for land in the area where we are, in the area where we wanted to be, the land was really, really expensive. And the reason it's so expensive is because the Amish are keeping the prices of land in this area up, because when something goes on the market as far as land is concerned, they're just snatching it up and paying just ridiculous prices. I mean, just to kind of give you an idea, there was a place I was looking at, they were doing an auction, and I got with my buddy that we did the deer video with.
Oh yeah, okay.
I got with him one afternoon, and we went out on his side-by-side, and I wanted to drive over the land to see, because it was like 14 acres. And I wanted to drive the land to see, would it suit our needs, because we want to, because we were wanting to build a house, we were wanting to have pasture, we were wanting to be able to garden. So, we needed to have decent land. And as we were driving over this land, I mean, it was like rock crawling. I mean, it was surface rocks everywhere, and I couldn't even figure, as we were driving around and we were talking about it, we couldn't even figure out a place to put a house, without having to dynamite and stuff. It was so bad. Well, when the auction took place, that land sold for almost $15,000 an acre. So that's how.
And it was
and it
several
was
hundred. What is it?
Yeah,
It was several hundred acres.
and this wasn't even, and it wasn't even useful land, and so, and that's what I mean by they're keeping the prices jacked up. So anyway,
well,
now,
and they can afford it. That's a whole nother conversation too. But
now back to your story.
Yeah. Well, and so we one Sunday afternoon I said, I found this one property, and I said, can we at least just drive by it? It didn't look like it was going to work. It was a house and
well, I think there were a couple in the same general vicinity.
Yes, I think so. Yes. Yeah, you're right, because that's the afternoon we went and looked at the one way up on the hill. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
And so we did look at the one up on the hill, and nobody was living there, so we called the realtor, and he said, yeah, drive on up there. So we did, and I liked it, but it wasn't going to work. But I liked it. There's not everything you like would work.
It was a cool getaway property, because it was
for like 2 people.
I mean, it was it's like 900 square foot log cabin.
And
I mean,
but
it would be a neat little getaway.
Or an Airbnb
place.
or something, which we can't afford to just buy Airbnbs. And wish we could. And so then I pulled on my phone and I said, okay, there's one more. I don't think it would work. Can we at least we're in the area. Can we just drive by it? It was a house and a property on a hill. So we drove by that and we're like, eh. And so we didn't know. He said, how do I get out of here? And I said, I'm not quite sure. So he took this one way. And I remember we'd been praying for, Lord, just direct us. And we believe in the power of prayer. You may not. That's fine. That's your choice. So we drove by this one road that I never know that I've been on in my life.
I've never been on it.
And there was a very small sign, and I'm talking, it wasn't, it was one of those little for sale signs, right?
One of those little for sale signs that you get at the store.
But it felt like it was even smaller than that. And there was a phone number on it, but they didn't have the area code, and I don't know the area codes around here. And I mean, I know some, but people have different ones, on their cell phones. And it said for sale. And we were confused because we couldn't figure out, because there was a house down there on it, or kind of, adjacent. And I said, stop. And so he stopped, and I said, look, well, let's just call the number and let's just see. That won't hurt. So there was no area code. I couldn't call the number. And I said, look, those people are sitting up there in their garage watching us sit here. So let's go up and talk to them. So long story short, we went up there and talked to them, and they were fun to talk to and easy to talk to.
And they own the property.
They own the property. We were there, weren't we there 2.5 hours or 3 hours?
Talking.
To the point that Little Miss Homemaker and Little Music Man had left home. It was a rainy Sunday afternoon, and I said, y'all, we're just going down here to look at something. We'll be right back. So 3 hours later, she called and she said, where are you? Are you okay? I said, yes, we're fine. So we talked about the property with the people. They explained what was for sale. And this was in August of last year. So we're taping this right now. This video is 1st of May, 2023. We found the property in August, right? Of 22.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they said, we said, can we go look at it? Of course, sure. So we went to look at the property, and we got up there. And how did you feel when we got up there?
Well, so the mountains is our happy place. I think we've said that on here before.
We said it at the beginning of this video.
And I told the guy, I said, I'm thinking of building a house down here and, doing whatever on top. He says, before you make that decision, he says, you need to drive up to the top of the property. Mm-hmm. And he said, and then come back and talk to me. So we drove up to the top of the property, and oh my, it looks out over this big, huge valley with a hill on the other side, not a mountain, but a hill on the other side.
We can pretend it's a mountain.
It is the foothills of Appalachia.
That's right.
So we got up there and we were like, oh my, this is where the house needs to be, sitting like this, looking at that. anyway, so
Well, and this is how the other places. I've made mistakes in the past by talking him into something that I realized later I shouldn't have talked him into. And I'm not even being funny. That is, I didn't used to listen to the Lord's leading or the Holy Spirit and discernment. Some people call it intuition. You can call it whatever you want to. But I try more to be more in tune with that than I used to be. And also to follow his leading and his whatever he thinks, or gut feeling, or whatever you want to call that. And all the other places we've looked at, even the one that I mentioned a few minutes ago, that I thought, okay, this is it, and then he was a hard and fast no, then I was disappointed. Might have even shed a tear or something, because I really thought that was it. But then I got over it pretty fast, thinking, you know what, that I had prayed for the Lord to lead him, and it was a hard and fast no. So there was not a good hard and fast yes with him until we saw this property. And when we went up there and he was like, okay, this is it, then I knew it was it. So anyway, long story shorter, it took forever with different reasons, and we closed in January.
Well, we were supposed to close in October, but there was some issues that had to get settled and fixed before we could close, and we ended up closing actually as the first week of January of this year, 23.
It was. So that is what we wanted to let y'all know. It is raw land, and he's already we, mostly he. Yeah. Oh my, who knows? But he and the kids have already gone to do some work, and we will be doing some work, mostly he. And so we want to share that with folks, but we have done a lot of talking about this since the fall. How much information do we want to share? Where do we want to share it? And we have the cat snoring. The cat snoring.
He always
That's
snores.
What you hear is the cat snoring.
I don't know if they can hear it or not.
So we have decided we are going to share every time we go out there, and we've already put 2 videos out. But every time we go out there, one of the 4 of us will film, and we are putting that on our Patreon platform at the Heritage Seekers and Heritage Keepers tiers.
And it's going to be very raw. There's not going to be a whole lot of editing. It's just going to be, we tape it and drop it and drop it over there. Boom, right. Here it is.
So we're not, hiding the location over there, on those videos or anything like that. We're telling all the information. Here it is. We're sharing it. It's just an easy thing to get out there to the Heritage Seekers and Heritage Keepers. So, and we'll just, like I said, we've already put out 2 videos so far, and that is where we're going to drop that information, because it just feels like a more secure place for us to drop the personal information. And, it could take 2 or 3 or so, or we don't know how long until we're actually living there. And after we live there, obviously, when I make the cooking YouTube videos and all that, that will be here on YouTube. But between that time, all the getting the farmland ready, I call it farmland. It's not farmland technically, but it's, I
call it what you want. It's yours.
It is, isn't it? I'm going to call it my farm, because homestead just seems too cliquey for me these days. But anyway, you can call it a homestead if you want to call it a homestead. So anyway, that is it. I will put a link down below in the description box if you want to check out what we do offer patrons on Patreon. It is a platform where you can opt in and out, and folks do that. It's also a platform. It is a membership platform, just like you subscribe to Amazon and Netflix and all the things you subscribe to get bonus content. And also we have the 10% off option for folks who go ahead and pay for the year, and most of our folks who are budget minded and frugal, they do that, so that's good too.
Well, and the thing is, Patreon, a lot of social media people do have Patreon, but they just throw it out there as a, hey, support me kind of thing. But our Patreon is not like that. Patreon, we at every level, you get something. it's not just a, hey, support
Thanks.
us. Yeah, it's not just a, hey, support us with your finances, but it's, hey, if you're, and our mindset is, look, if you're going to support us with your finances, this is what we're going to do in return for you. And all of that stuff is listed out on all the different levels on our Heritage Ways Patreon page.
I like to get something for my money. I just do. And I had one good friend of ours who said to us one time, and he's got a very large following on YouTube, and he said he has never seen a Patreon account as good as ours as far as what we offer folks. So I just thank the Lord that we can do that. And so anyway, I hope that folks will be understanding and give us grace, because I know a lot of people want to follow our journey, but there are several reasons why we decided to do that, and we didn't take that lightly either. I mean, we were back and forth about what to do and where to do it. But another reason is, quite frankly, that a lot of folks come to Heritage Ways YouTube mainly for cooking and recipes.
And the homemaking aspect.
And even though he'll be home building and homemaking and steading, I do try to I'm trying to start putting everything that's not basically cooking and recipes, I try to push that over on Patreon, and I'm going to do so even more so. Bonus, if you've lasted this long on this video, bless your heart, I'm going to give you a bonus. We have a new series on Patreon, and it's at the Heritage Seekers, Heritage Keepers tiers as well, and that is Granny and Papa's renovation of their house. So if you like that kind of thing, this is my Aunt Linda and Uncle Bill, but they're also known as Granny and Papa to Little Miss Homemaker and to their grandchildren. So anyway, so those names are interchangeable. But they live in the house that my great-grandfather built in 1928. He and his wife, Granny, Laura, built that house. And so now, in the fashion of all houses built back then, farmhouses, the bedrooms are upstairs and bathroom, probably.
Yeah.
And
if it had one.
That's what I said, probably. And I mean, theirs did have one, but so Granny and Papa are getting we're thinking, we don't want any bedroom upstairs in 10 years from now. My knees already hurt.
I don't want one upstairs
now.
I don't either. That's where it is.
I don't either. But anyway, so they are renovating with trying to keep the heritage and the integrity, the historical integrity of the house intact. And they have said that I can do a video series on all of that on Patreon as well. So I have the first one out, and I'm so excited. We already have folks who said, I love this new series. So that is another bonus that we have there if you're interested in people building houses and homesteads and all that kind of thing. So there you go.
There you go.
The cat is still snoring. We have not woke him up during all of this. We're thankful y'all are here. We're counting our blessings. We hope you are too.
Yep.
So nothing's going to change here on this channel. You're still going to get your cooking and your recipes and all of that. But we wanted just to share our news and to share these clips and photos that I've been taking since last August, so I can add them to show y'all here.
All right.
Final words, Mr. Patient.
I don't know.
Okay, that's very profound. Thanks for joining us. Count your blessings, and I'll see you next time here on Heritage Ways YouTube. Bye-bye, y'all. Good grief, that poor cat. He needs an oral device for his sleep apnea.
Tell me, he's got sleep apnea. Let's put a mask on him. Let's put a CPAP on him.
Oh, my word.
See a cat with a CPAP.
All right, let's get a picture for the thumbnail.
Okay.
Oh, let me sit up. Okay, now let's do it. Look at me.
You ain't right.
Okay. Here we go. I better make sure it's on. Just be positive, because we're fixing to do all this talking.